Hiya, it's Xavier, and I'm sitting very casually, relaxed, in the bonsai retreat. And guess what's here? Well, it's not really a guess, is it? It's my Japanese white pine. I'd be lying to you if I didn't say that this pine is probably one of the most important bonsais I've got in my collection. Apart from my early Japanese larch saplings, this is the first ever tree I purchased of value. And when I say of value, I bought this in 2002 for the grand total of, that's a drum roll by the way, £50. It was half the size, and I'm sure I've put a picture of it up once before, and my care regime for it was simple. Put it in the corner of the garden and forget about it, because I didn't actually have a clue what to do with it. It just looked good when I bought it, and I was all enthusiastic, and then that was about it. I literally didn't touch it for 10 years. Didn't feed it, didn't do anything. The weeds grew, but the tree survived because it had light and it had water, and probably a bit of luck. But over the years, I've started trying to destroy it with very, very naive techniques, and you know, to be fair, it's a plant, it's outside, it's been fine. 3 or 4 years ago, it got hit really badly with a root problem. I think in a very early video I showed you the roots. They were very, very poor, so it got taken out of a shallow pot and put into this great big deep drum pot. And last year I thought I was going to do some work on it for YouTube. Still wasn't 100% confident about it. Left it for another year, and now we've got loads and loads of beautiful growth. So 5 needle single flush pine, Japanese white pine. There's different variations of it all, but they all act the same. All the pines normally, the Scots pines or the Mugo pines, in spring at some point when the candles are extending, I'll pinch them back, and that is to redirect and redistribute growth. Don't do it with the Japanese white pine, and I think there are different schools of thought on it, and mine certainly sits on with the Ryan Neal Bonsai Mirai school of thought. And with the white pine, the reason why I won't pinch those candles is because if the sheaths haven't yet opened up and formed, then what that tells the tree to do is to send out more energy into those needles, so when they come out they get longer. So when you're looking at the more at the stage where you are now, where you've got a highly ramified tree, you don't want long needles. So the tactic I've found works best, and as I say, it's from Bonsai Mirai, is you wait until the needle sheaths, which is the brown rice paper packaging has opened up and dropped. That's telling you that the needle will not extend or get any bigger, and it's at this period, which is normally the early summer, when it is safe to do your standard cutting back of your candles. So let's get in close and have a look and see what I mean. If we look at, let's just look at this one here. Probably look to the one in front, it would have been easier. You will see here, hopefully, there's light brown around all the base of these needle sheaths, and the sheaths are just starting to open, and inside each says 5 needles, and it's this browny sort of sheath, and what you're waiting for is when it starts to fall away. And normally what you can do is, if you hold your hand underneath and just lightly tap, what will tell you at the right time is those sheaths will drop onto your hand. Now at the moment the sheaths aren't dropping, so I'm still probably a little bit early, but this is where you're looking, and I'm probably within a week or two. In fact, there's a little bit of brown paper just coming off, and it is like rice paper. I will probably wait another week. So that's what you're waiting for, but the sheaths are already, the needles are already starting to open up, which, to be honest, I could probably do it now. But that's the brown paper sort of sheath covering you're looking for. And to say again, the main thing you're saying there is, once that happens, those needles will not get any longer. So hopefully you've got an idea now of what I talk about. I talk about these rice paper brown sheaths, and what it is you're actually looking for on your tree to tell you that it's the right time. Early summer, I looked at a previous Ryan Neal video, and he actually did this work 11th of June. That was back 3-4 years ago. It varies, but that's what you're looking for. And really, I mean, as I say, it's probably safe for me to do this work now. It's only because I've got Mugo to do first that I'm holding back, but I thought I'd show it when you can still see clearly what these sheaths are. Now, the key thing again with all these things is, just because you see it You go, oh, it's time, I can prune back. Doesn't mean it's the right time to do it. This tree is 40, 50 years old. It's 50 years old at least. It's what we call in the refined state. It's a bit messy. That's because it's been ill. So I can do work on it. I know I've had a good few years rebuilding the root structure, so I can do some work on this. But I also have to be aware it's an older pine. This year I am going to be repotting it, and I'm going to do it in the autumn time. Again, two schools of thought. On this one I'm going with Harry Harrington Bonsai for me, who says a good time to do your pines and junipers is actually in the autumn, just before it starts doing its push on roots. So I know I'm going to be doing the repot. That's a taxing bit of work for something like this, so whatever I do now, it won't be a lot. I'm really concentrating with this white pine on the repot. Yeah. Now if you're in a much younger tree and it's, you know, nursery stock Japanese white pines, then you can certainly be looking at doing a lot more work. I think the key bit of information that I took a long time to learn about is that with pines, you are building them. It's like junipers, you're building them. And to build them, you need to have strong roots. And you build the roots first, and the only way you can build roots is by having a lot of needle mass. Once you're happy with the roots, then you can start looking at, you know, what's your needle mass giving you and pruning back. And truthfully, if you look at the needle mass on this, I haven't got loads of back budding. I've got some branching, probably sufficient that I can wire out an initial structure. It basically needs to be restyled. I haven't got that much back budding to work with, so if I was honest, do I need to cut back much? Probably not. So again, this year there won't be a lot of pruning work to do on it, but hopefully there you've seen that's what I mean by the sheaths, and early summer, that's what you're looking for if you're looking to do any candle pruning work. As happened last year, you know, I'm really eager to demonstrate this process on the white pine. As I say, 5 needle, long 5 needle, long needle pine. I think it also includes the likes of strobus. So those of the 5 needle pines all react the same, apart from I think the zushi or the short needle. But in the end, with these 5 needle pines, you need to have the growth to support this candle management which you're doing. In a refined tree like this, if this hadn't been ill, you would be seeing the candles, this year's candles would be extending, you know, 2, maybe 3 centimeters. They'd be long extensions, and they'd be across the whole tree, and that would be the tree telling you that I'm really healthy. And because of that, you could then go, right, well, I'm going to do some candle reduction, knowing there's enough strength in the roots to push out new buds from the remaining needle pairs, the remaining needle sheaths that you leave there, because out of five needles, the new bud will come from the center. No matter how much I tell myself, as I did a little bit earlier, that I can do this work on this now, it's healthy, but it hasn't got that extended needle mass that we're talking about. And we'll come in close and really show it to you. Now if we're looking again at the top of the tree here, we've got, you know, probably there's, where they're yellowing at the tips, that could well be the 3rd year needles. They don't move easily, so they're probably still the 2nd year needles. So I don't need to remove those because I still want them to bring energy in. But the actual new candle itself is up here. And from here there's actually only 1/2 centimetre. Same here. Further back we've probably got, there we go, there's the 3rd year needle. You can remove them and they'll come away nice and easily. But if we actually look at what the candle extension is, there's 2 buds have come out, and the extension is again 1/2 centimetre. Nothing there is enough to tell me that there's a candle that needs to be reduced. And in the end, if the candle doesn't need to be reduced 1/2 centimetre, it's just not enough. So no matter how much I want to show it to you, I really can't. If I was going to, what I've discovered at the back side of the tree is a number of very long extended shoots, and this is where I can probably demonstrate. So let's go back here. We've actually got 1, 2, these back buds here. They're now properly grayed off. The chances are I will cut this center one off, and I could do that now if I wanted, and look at those being the 2 new continuations of this tree. Perfect. I've also got a load of buds here, so I could remove this. But what I will do is use this moment to show the candle method here. Right. So we've got the sheaves, the brown sheaves there. They're just starting to fall. I could probably wait another week or two. All this growth from here all the way up to here, that's nearly 2 centimeters. Okay, so on a refined tree where we want to try and get buds, we look back to the first set of really ones is here, here and here. I would cut back there, remove all of that. It's about 1 centimeter, and from there I've still got, if you look at the new, this shoot, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and because I've got this behind, I'll show you more. I could actually go even further back. Okay, and what I've left is 1, 2, 3, 4 needle pairs, 4 needle clusters, 4 lots of 5. And what you're hoping to happen is out of those 1, 2, 3, 4, is that within the center you'll promote some new buds. Now, as it is with this, what I will actually do, probably in the autumn, is I will cut back here, and truthfully I could do it now. So the other work you can do on a healthy pine is cut that back. But again, ask yourself, is the tree very healthy? Are you going to be asking anything big of it, or do you want it to be gaining as much growth as you possibly can? So much that I would love to demonstrate taking those candles down. The truth is, I don't need to. So that's positive. Hopefully I've demonstrated what it is that you would be looking for if that's what you're going to do. I think what it's telling me is the tree is getting healthier each year, which is good. But it's not yet so healthy that it's every candle's throwing out a load of growth. What this really needs, let's be honest, is some nice wiring to get your pads going up and to continue to gain health and vigor. And I think, in hindsight, as I said last year, how much I want to demonstrate the post-flush hardened pruning on the Japanese white pine. There isn't the indication there that it's right. And because I know I'm going to do the repots later in the year, I want as much needle mass as I possibly can so that it continues to pull in energy. Because right now, it's probably at its lowest energy point. It now needs to use all these needles, all this mass, to gain in more energy. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully you've gathered the explanation. If you've got a tree in development, then right at this time, you want massive. You want the candles. You want as many needles as you can because you're trying to thicken branches. You're trying to promote back budding. In a refined tree, if I start reducing the candle lengths, I'm not looking at getting back budding from that. If I want back budding, I want maximized needles and energy gathering solar panels. That's from my experience. And I know across the range there's lots of different experiences. But what I am finding in this is there are little sites of back budding that are starting to happen that definitely weren't happening last year. And what are some of the positive examples we're looking at? Now, when we look on these branches, okay, here there's a bud there, there's also a little bud there. That was what that looked like last year. Slow extension. And again, when you're working your pines, all of them, you do need to be a little bit careful because I'd love those to grow rather than the 2 that are here because they're closer into the branch. But I need to see them turn into that before I can start thinking about any sort of removals. And that removal I would do in the autumn time. If we look in here, We've got here, here, this one here. These again were all very, very small last year. We've got in here, there and there we've got buds. So the tree is producing quite a lot. Again here, back buds. So, and this is what we're trying to get, and the only way we're going to get that is if we have the needle mass on. So hopefully I haven't confused you. 5 needle pine are actually really easy. You've got a period when those sheaths drop, normally middle June, last week of June, and the brown papery falls away. During that period there, you know that if you cut the candle, you are not going to get any needles extending, and that's it. These are long needles, so if you do that in the spring, the tree's response will be to extend and elongate those needles while they're still in the sheaths, which is what you don't want on a refined pine. When you cut it, you can cut, I mean I've cut 1 centimetre off here, and it's quite a lot of pine, but ideally to be doing that sort of work you want that sort of growth that I showed you on that across the whole tree. If you start just selecting bits and places, it probably won't have the energy in it to give you those new buds that you're looking to achieve by doing this work. So in terms of how long you've got to do it, you've probably got 2 to 3 weeks. As soon as you start seeing the colour of that central candle starting to grey, i.e. demonstrating it's hardening off, then you don't do it, because you won't promote any growth. Then if you want to try and start doing reductions, you actually need to wait until you get to the autumn time, which we'll show you. Next time we're going to see this, it's going to be the autumn when we do the repot. And I won't show you the pot, but if you look back on my website, you'll probably see an image somewhere of how it looked in the pot. So is it any different for the Japanese white pine that I picked up from Doncaster early in the year, the one that got repotted? No, not at all, because I just said got repotted. So I don't want to be doing anything much with that for at least a year. It's got lots of, well, it hasn't got lots of, it's got some new candle extensions, but the same issues with the other one. Not copious. You're not getting great flushes of growth that tells you that this has got loads of stored energy. So, you know, I'll treat it with respect. What will I do though? Truthfully, I'm going to feed it up. Now, the reason why I can feed it up now is because the needles have already done their extension. If I feeded this up in the springtime, that tree would shove all that energy into the candles, and you would get longer needles. And again, it's an older tree. This is refined, so we're looking at keeping the needle size small. And as I say, I'll nice bit of food up now, and then I'll do some wiring. Talked about it. This branch, I'll be wiring this around. I could do it now, but truthfully the most optimum time for wiring, branch removal, branch reductions is in the early autumn, when this tree will have regained a lot of vigor, because right now it's used a lot of energy in production of candles. So over the next 4 to 6 weeks we want it to pull in as much energy as it can. Then it goes a bit dormant, and then as we head into that sort of September time, that's when I will start doing some more work on it. And as I say, it's probably going to be a bit of wiring. I might do a little bit of reduction at the top. Certainly won't take more than sort of 10-15% if that's what I'm going to do. But hey, that's something for you to look forward to later in the year. And really, what I hope, certainly with the other Japanese white pine, is that next year, coming to the end of June, I can actually see a tree that's all the candles have been throwing out loads of growth, and we can then demonstrate properly the candle reduction strategy. Now, I'm again going to apologise Foolish me, I wore pale colours, and having already seen the edit of what I did this morning, you know, I am definitely looking like death warmed up. Thankfully the tree stands out pretty well. And again, hopefully I didn't cause any confusion with my rambling, but they are easy. To be fair, Japanese White Pine, they are easy. You just, again, it's a bit like Dawn Redwood. Know the key rule and the key time, and you don't go wrong really. But before I sign off, I think we need to get some subscriber photos out there, because I've had a whole raft of stuff come in over the last 3 weeks, and I think it's time you saw them. Well, the first one we're going to see is from David, and we've got a few photos. We've got his Dawn Redwood post-pruning, and hopefully the advice I gave will work out for him. We've got his juniper, which he says is starved of light a little bit, not getting enough sunshine, but it still looks pretty good to me. And then we've got his Sharp's Pygmy Maple. And again, I've suggested that looking good, but come the leaf fall, there might be some branch work to do on that. So thanks, David. Next, we've got one of the channel favourites, Martina from Salzburg. And this time she's showing again one of her Dawn Redwoods, and in response to my ash video she's sent a picture of her Mountain Rowan, and she and I think Andrew Beattie also both suggested much nicer smaller leaf structure, so probably better suited to bonsai than the good old English ash that I showed. Then we've got Puresh. I think he's in the West Indies. He gave a very generous donation after trying out the database, and apparently he's very happy with how the database is working on the access system, so thank you for that. He sent several pictures. We've got ficus, we've got some dwarf jades, juniper, I think it's a North Island pine, and we've also got Desert Rose, which a number of people have been trying for bonsai. So thanks Puresh for that. Then Sharon has also sent some more photos through. She's got her Shipwreck Penjing, which I think has got a spruce in it and something else. Then she's also got a picture of a Sitku spruce. As you know, I so far have not actually done anything spruce-wise on the channel, so that's certainly something that's going to be rectified, because Tony's passed a spruce my way anyway. Then Timothy, thanks very much Tim for your, well, you've got a number of photographs here, and I'll say now the one I like most is the one that isn't easily seen, and that's the elm that you've got situated in the ruins. I'd love to see that. But he's got some elm, Portulacaris, I think it's natal ficus or natal ficus. It's got a Procumbens nana juniper and acacia, although he's mentioned something about, I don't know whether it's called it a monkey something or other, but apparently the Australians stole that name from the South Africans, so I'll let you argue that with the Aussie bonsai bloke, but yeah, I think it's an acacia. And of course it's got a Japanese black pine, and you'll notice in the picture it's got an air layer on it, so, and that's apparently succeeding nicely. So yeah, some lovely photos. And Dan of the Bonsai Project also insisted on sending a couple of photos of some of his seedling plants. Looks like some pines, potentially some spruce I think, coming through. So yeah, but I reckon if you want to see those properly you need to go onto his channel, which is a good lead-in for that, isn't it? So thanks everyone for sending some pictures. Again, a reminder, if anyone wants to see any of their bonsai showcased on this incredible channel, with this incredible community that's being built, then just send them in to expressionsbonsai@gmail.com, and when I've got enough together I'll do a subscribers corner. So with the wind causing all sorts of problems with the camera, and everything finished with what I was going to do with the Japanese White Pine, I say thanks ever so much for taking the time to watch. Apologise for the the whiteout, which happened different points through this video, but as you know, I'm still practicing with the different settings. But as soon as you take it off automatic, then every time the light changes, I've got to stand up and do something about it. So ultimately, I think I might have to find a different place to film. But anyway, thanks very much for hanging around and putting up with me. And I just really hope you got something out of today. There's definitely some things to get out of it, and I really do hope you'll hang around for September time. Got a big repot to do on one of the Japanese pines. There'll be some wiring, and definitely some wiring on this one as well, and probably a little bit of branch reduction and selection. So that's all I've got to say. All the best, happy bonsai, and God bless. Cheers.